So you're thinking about moving to Las Vegas, Nevada? In this video, we're going to take a bird's eye look at Centennial Hills in Google Maps and show you where it is and how you get around and what's over there. So let's get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Las Vegas or moving to the Centennial Hills, go ahead and hit subscribe, tap that bell for notifications, and you'll be the first to know for everything that's going on and all the changes in the market here in the Las Vegas area. Hi, I'm Anthony, and me and my team get calls, texts, and emails every day from people just like you looking to make their move to places like Centennial Hills here in Las Vegas, and we absolutely love it. Look, if you're looking to move in the next 9 to 90 days, go ahead and shoot us a text, give us a call, send us an email, and we'd be more than happy to help you and make your move as smooth as possible. So as I said, what we're going to do today is we're going to jump into my computer, get on Google Maps, take a look at where Centennial Hills is in comparison to the rest of Las Vegas, how you get around, how far away it is from different places, and what's available for you to do up there. So let's go ahead and let's get right to it and jump into my computer now. Okay, so we're here in our Google Maps now, so let's go ahead and dive in, see what's going on, see where we are and what we're looking at. You'll see here, this is the Centennial Hills area. So it goes from about Lone Mountain, which is a street here, to Rainbow over on this side, and takes up pretty much the entire northwest corner of the Las Vegas Valley. Now remember, as we've talked about in other videos, Las Vegas is not very big. If you go from the top to the bottom, you're at right around 28 miles. And if you go from the west to the east, even if you include all of Henderson, you're only at about 27, 26 miles. So it's a pretty small area in general. Centennial Hills back in the day was literally in the boondocks. This was one of the last areas that was developed. And up until about the year 2000 to 2005, it was an area that was relatively underdeveloped. What you find was a lot of homes that were standalone. So you'd find a house on a big piece of property. A lot of that property around it was undeveloped. But then a couple of things happened. So the first big thing that happened as the population started to grow, obviously Las Vegas needed more and more housing to accommodate all this new population. And the northwest area became the most recent area that started to be developed to accommodate this population growth. So two big things happened to make Centennial Hills. Now this has all been planned through the city and through the planning departments for a long time coming, but it really started to come to fruition in the early 2000s. So the first big thing that you have here is the 215 was extended. So the 215, as you might recall from some of our other videos, basically takes you from Henderson all the way up here and right down here. And it actually goes all the way to the 15 on the other side. If you're up in Centennial Hills, the big divide here that you're going to look for is the 95, because that's going to cut you across the city. You take the 215 pretty much wherever you are to the 95, and that'll shoot you right down to the middle. So the big development issues was the extension of this 215 and the creation of the 215. The other big thing that happened was this Centennial Hills Hospital. I think they opened in 2007. Fantastic, state-of-the-art new hospital. But you need to have all that infrastructure in place in order to accommodate all this burgeoning new growth. So as we've talked about, like I said in my other videos, Centennial Hills is great. It's got a lot of new construction, a lot of new developments, a lot of reasons why it's becoming such a great place to live. Now, And it's gone from before where that was the boonies of Las Vegas to now just a central part and a normal, well-developed area of Las Vegas that a ton of people are moving to because it does have so many great positives. Let's go ahead and figure out where we are, what's going on there, what's around there, and what we can do here. So let's start by looking at where are you in comparison to the Strip. So we go up in this north corner. Our Strip, remember the Strip, if you've come here as a tourist, this is the only part of Las Vegas that you've probably ever seen, and it's a little 3.5 mile strip of land by about a mile wide. Not very big at all, but that's what everybody thinks Las Vegas is. Obviously, Las Vegas is much bigger than that and has all kinds of great things going on for it. But it's super simple to get from Centennial Hills to the Strip. You would just jump on, depending where you are, the 215, which is this one here, and you would come back to the 95 and just shoot down straight here, and you go to what we call the Spaghetti Bowl, and you jump on the 15. The Spaghetti Bowl is where a bunch of the different freeways converge. It's basically right at the end of Fremont Street is where the 95 and the 15 would meet up, and then you would just take the 15 down a couple of exits and you'd be right on the main heart of the Strip. So super simple and easy to get to the Strip from Centennial Hills. That means you can go for your date nights, you can go bring friends around to the Strip, you can go hang out there. It's a fantastic place to be. If you work on the Strip, it's an easy shot right here. Now, the other thing is Centennial Hills also has a really great route. If you're in the military and you're stationed on Nellis Air Force Base, Centennial Hills is becoming a fantastic place for our soldiers to move to because of all the new development, because your dollar goes a little bit further than everywhere, and because you can just jump on the 215 here. So if you're coming from the Centennial Hills, you would jump on the 215 here, and instead of getting on the 95 and shooting down through the city, you would continue on the 215 and ring around the city, and boom, right here where the 215 and the 15 meet, you're right near Nellis Air Force Base. It's a real quick, short jaunt. Fantastic place, like I said, if you're a veteran or you're active duty. Great place to take a look at for newer construction housing rather than what's around here on the east side that's close to Nellis. Centennial Hills is becoming a real hotspot for people who do work on Nellis to move to. The other thing is, how far is it away from the malls? Well, let's take a look. So we have a couple big malls here that you would go to if you were in Centennial Hills. Now, there's a lot of really nice new infrastructure and new development. So your local big box stores, you're going to have a lot of that right within Centennial Hills. And all of it is really awesome because it's only been built within the last 15 years or so. So all of that expansion, all the stores are new up in that area. But if you want to get to some of the other malls that are established here in Las Vegas, again, super simple. Vegas is a really easy place to get around once you know where you're going and you know the basics. You can get pretty much anywhere within under a half hour. So coming from Centennial Hills, let's say we want to go to downtown Summerlin. And if you haven't watched any of our videos on downtown Summerlin and the Summerlin area, you should go check those out. But really, it's super simple. You jump right on that 215. This is why the 215 was so important. You jump on the 215, you skirt out over here, and you just drive straight down to Sahara. 15-minute drive to get from the middle of Centennial Hills to downtown Summerlin. Just a super easy thing to do. Now, let's say you want to go to the outlet malls. There's 2 outlet malls here in Las Vegas. We have the premium outlets, which are on Charleston and Las Vegas Boulevard. So on the Strip, it's at the end of the Strip. You would do it just like you would if you were going to the Strip. So you'd hop on the 215, or maybe you just get straight onto the 95, shoot directly across. boom to the 15, you get off on Charleston, and you're in the parking lot of the outlet malls. We also have the South outlet malls. Again, those are on Las Vegas Boulevard, but they're at the beginning of the strip. So you if you wanted to get to those. Now that one's an indoor, the South outlet malls. The North outlet malls, the one on Charleston, is an outdoor mall. But if you want to get to the indoor outlet malls, again, super easy. You just get on the 215, you wrap around the city, and you get off right where the 15 and the 215 meet on Las Vegas Boulevard, and you're right there in the parking lot for those outlet malls. There's also Town Square, which is right here on Sunset and the 215, or Sunset and Las Vegas Boulevard. You would take the same exit, and instead of going right to get to the outlet malls, you'd make a left and you'd be in Town Square. There's a Whole Foods. It's a wonderful place to go and spend the afternoon. It again is outdoors. There's a huge AMC theater there. There's all kinds of great shopping. There's a lot of good food there. There's a place called Brio, which is a fantastic Italian place. There's just a lot to do right there. There's an Apple store, obviously, and whatnot. Finally, we have the fashion show. If you've been on the strip, you probably know the fashion show, and you would get there just as you would if you were coming to the strip. You would jump on the 95 from Centennial Hills, take it to the 15, and you can take it right to the Spring Mountain exit, and boom, you're right in that parking lot as well. You never even have to get on the strip. You can go right in from the back off of Spring Mountain, and you get there right. It's right on Industrial. So Industrial is the back of the strip. Then there's the strip, Las Vegas Boulevard, and on the other side, there's Koval and Paradise. So those are the three big streets that you need to know. And if you're trying to just get somewhere, it's better to figure out a way to get there from Industrial. They also call it Dean Martin or Sammy Davis Jr. Or you want to go to Koval or Paradise rather than driving on the strip itself. Unless, of course, that's what you're doing and that's what you want to do. But it's super simple to get there. Then to get to the Galleria Mall, again, super simple to get there. You would jump on the 95, okay? And then at the Spaghetti Bowl, remember that's where all the freeways basically converge. The 95, the 515, and the 15. You would keep going south on the 95 and 515 interchange. And you would take that right down here, and you would get right off on Galleria, and you would be in our largest suburb indoor mall. It's almost 1 million square feet. It's got all of the things that you would expect in an indoor mall. So getting to the malls is very easy to do. You're within 15 to 20 minutes of just about all of them. Super easy to get around. Now, what about the different sporting venues? You know, sports are now a big thing here. So we have a couple of different areas. We have this is the City National Bank Arena. This is where the Vegas Golden Knights have their training facility. This is also where Las Vegas Ballpark is. And that is where our minor league team plays. This is where Enchant at Christmas. And if you ever checked out some of my other videos, Enchant is awesome, especially if you have younger kids or people who just love Christmas. The lights are fantastic. The first year that they did it was in 2021, and it was amazing. My daughter, who's 7 now, was thoroughly impressed. We spent hours there walking through the lights. She loved it. But you can go to the ballpark. You can watch a game during the summer. It's got a little pool area. I mean, Las Vegas Ballpark is really a cool spot. But this downtown Summerlin area, you are so accessible to that from Centennial Hills. Again, you just jump on the 215, boom, right there, and in less than 15 minutes, you get off on Sahara or Charleston, and you're right there. So there's also Red Rock Casino right there. You are 15 minutes away from anything that you really need to do. And if you want to go to T-Mobile or Allegiant and you want to see the Raiders or you want to see the Golden Knights play a game, actual game, you would jump on the 95. So this is where the 215 and 95 meet here in Centennial Hills. You would just jump on this 95 and you would take it again to the Spaghetti Bowl, get off on the 15, and you take that almost to the end to Flamingo or Tropicana, and you'd be right there. There's T-Mobile. This is where the Knights play. And here is Allegiant Stadium. You're that close to everything. Was it the boonies? Yes, but the boonies, something that is in reference to other things. Now that this area is developed, it's not the boonies anymore. This is a fantastic place to live. It's got all of the great new amenities, new technologies, new builds, new infrastructure, everything. Centennial Hills is fantastic, and your dollar goes farther there in your home prices. So just a good thing to look at. And then right over here is the Thomas and Mack Center. So again, this is right off of Paradise. You would probably get off on Tropicana and just shoot down here to get to the Thomas and Mack. We have our UNLV basketball. We have there's rodeos there. There's all kinds of different music and sporting events. Fantastic, easy to get to, even from Centennial Hills. And finally, the airport. Now the airport, there's two ways that you could get there. Actually, there's a couple different ways. It depends on where you live in Centennial Hills. But for the most part, what I would recommend is I would jump on the 215, take it all the way across, just like you were going to the outlet malls. Here's the airport right here. So I would take that 215 and I would get off on the Las Vegas Boulevard exit, or you can go up to, you can continue on the 215 and get off. There's a Sunset in McCarran. They call it McCarran still. Everybody still knows it as McCarran because it just changed its name to Harry Reid International Airport. But you would just get off here. Super easy to get to. You're there within a half hour. Not a big deal at all. The other things that you should be thinking about is, where are we in location to outdoors? This is where Centennial Hills really has it going on. Now, if you saw my video, my vlog video on Centennial Hills, I started that video here at Floyd Lamb Park. Floyd Lamb Park was a ranch, an agricultural area, along with Tule Springs here. So this whole area was Tule Springs, and then they created Floyd Lamb Park. So it's got a lake, it's got peacocks, it's got old buildings that you can go and walk through. It is one of the coolest places. From the spring through the end of fall, it's a fantastic place to go and spend some time with your family, friends, and loved ones. It's just a lot of fun. I'd encourage you to go watch that vlog video and you'll get a little view of what Floyd Lamb Park is all about. But on top of that, there's Tule Springs right here. And Tule Springs is a national monument that has a bunch of fossils. So if you got little dinosaur hunters or people that love to see and be archaeologists and check out, or paleontologists and see all of the different fossils, you are literally right here. You wouldn't even get on the freeway to get there. You just take one of the access roads to get there. Now, the other cool part is it was never named Centennial Hills until early 2015. Before then, it was just Northwest Las Vegas. Then they renamed it and rebranded it when they started developing it as a major thing here as Centennial Hills. What you're close to is, you're the closest that you get to Mount Charleston. So here's Mount Charleston right here. Now, Mount Charleston, during the summer, fantastic heights. It's also 30 degrees cooler on Mount Charleston than it is here in the Las Vegas Valley. So if you want to get out of that heat, you are so close. Depending on where you live, you may not even have to get on the 95 to get off to get to Mount Charleston. But then during winter, we've got snow there. In fact, there's even a ski resort there. So if skiing's your gig, no problem. If you live in Centennial Hills, you are the closest that you get to Mount Charleston. Just a short drive down this road through Kyle Canyon, and you are right here in Mount Charleston and you have a full day of skiing, literally, you are so close to Mount Charleston, whether it's the spring, summer, fall, or winter, there's some cool stuff for you to do right here on Mount Charleston. Now, if you want to go to Red Rock and you want to do the hikes at Red Rock, no problem there. Again, the same thing that you would do it just like you would if you were going to downtown Summerlin. So you jump on this 215, you come right here and you get off on Charleston, and instead of making a left to go to downtown Summerlin right here, you would make a right and you would just take Charleston up, and it takes you right through the middle of Red Rock, and it is just a fantastic place to go. It's the hiking there is awesome. They have all kinds of wildlife there that you can go and check out. You are close to everything. And then if you want to get to Lake Mead, which is down here, that too is a pretty easy way to get there. You take like you were going into the city to the Strip, except for you would take the same way that you would if you were going to the Galleria Mall, which is right here. So you get on the 95, take it to the 515 95 interchange, and you take that all the way till you get to where the 515 exits, and you turn into Lake Mead Boulevard, and you just cruise down that, and you're right here in Lake Mead. A little bit longer because you do have to go quite a ways out of the built-up city here, but still we're talking an hour. You're an hour to Lake Mead, all the way from the most northwest part of the valley, and you're still an hour away from Lake Mead. It can't be beat. You are as close as you can be to all of these great outdoor recreation facilities. A fantastic place to live. Look, Centennial Hills is rocking. Centennial Hills is where a lot of the new growth is. And if you don't want to live in the southeast corner in the Henderson area, and you want that newer construction, newer development, newer infrastructure, then yes, Centennial Hills in the northwest is where you want to go. We talked about a lot of builders. Go back to the vlog video, watch that. A lot of the builders, what they've done is they've created development. But there are a couple of big master planned areas. So one of the areas that we went through is Providence, and this was one of the very first master plan type communities. There's also Sky Canyon, which is right here. Fantastic place to be. So here's Providence, okay, and here's Sky Canyon. Just super nice new buildings with that master plan feel. Now, all throughout here, all in this area, the rest of it, what you have are a lot of smaller developments. So you'll see a builder will come take and buy a block, right? And they'll put 20, 50, 100 houses in this block. Now it'll have its own HOA normally, which is nice because that goes ahead and makes sure that everything is pretty standardized, keeping the property values up over time, making sure that everything maintains a certain level of curb appeal. On top of being new, what you have is all of the big box stores like I started this with. All of the infrastructure here is brand new, meaning within the last 15 years or so. So your grocery stores are going to be brand new. Your big box stores like this Lowe's here are going to be brand new. Everything out here is going to be fresh and new. If you want that new feel, fantastic place to go take a look at. They have a ton of different parks in each development, and especially in the master plan communities, you'll find they have their own set of parks as well. But there's some large city parks here that are fantastic as well. Look, Centennial Hills used to be in the boonies. Now it's a really hip, cool place to live. If you'd like to learn more about it and you want to see some of the new construction or some of what's available in Centennial Hills, go ahead and shoot me a text, send me an email, and I'd be more than happy to help you look for that. As I was making some of these videos and I drove around some of the areas and a couple of different places that I'd never been before, I was like, wow, this is a fantastic place to be. There is just a lot going on there. And I actually had a house in Centennial Hills about in 2010. So it was a pretty fresh new community at that point, and they were doing even a lot more construction then. But even then, there were some issues that the roads, because the infrastructure wasn't fully developed yet. The infrastructure is fully developed now, so getting around there, you would never know what it was like back in the day. You do still find some holdouts here on some of these blocks. You'll find random houses. They're nice, surrounded by a ton of land and nothing else around there. So that's one of the things, but you give it time, and all of that will be developed, and all of those areas will start to look a little bit more uniform, because it is such a fantastic place to live. You can get in now on the ground floor here and take advantage of being first into an area, seeing all that appreciation over time, while at the same time having the access to everything that Las Vegas has to offer. Like I said, go ahead, if this interests you and you want to see more in Centennial Hills, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to go and help you take a look at that. Other than that, I think that gives us a good overview of Centennial Hills. Fantastic little area. I'm so glad. It's just really nice. It's a good spot to go. Until the next video, until I see you here in the neighborhood, I look forward to seeing you then. Have a good one. Thanks.